Now we're going to talk about your noticer ability. And one of the most interesting things about this ability is that it's actually hard for humans to do. Like, my pugs have no problem noticing what's in their environment. They notice if a bit of food falls onto the floor, they see it instantly. But humans can get completely lost in their own thought like that, and where they're absolutely blind to what's in front of them, what's in the moment. So why is noticing so hard for us? Because we need to understand this if we're going to become better noticers and make this skill better and stronger. So I think one of the problems that we face with noticer is that our society teaches us not only to not notice, but to avoid certain things, avoid experience, especially emotions. So I want you to think about some of the things you hear in society about your emotions, like you want to have a positive attitude. That message is think positively. You don't want to worry about it, so don't think negatively. If you have a bad attitude, you'll fail, so don't think negatively. Put some cement in you, princess. It's a very common Australian one, which is like toughen up, don't have those feelings. Think about it. What are the messages that females are given about emotions? What are they not supposed to feel? Usually it's anger. What are males not supposed to feel? In the stereotypical sense, they're not supposed to feel anything that suggests vulnerability. They're not supposed to be anxious or sad or fragile, any of those feelings. So we've got these cultural messages teaching us that when something shows up in our body, a feeling, we need to avoid it. We need to not think about it. We need to avoid people who make us feel that way. We need to avoid situations that make us feel that way. So it's the opposite of noticing. It's like closing your eyes and just trying to get away from it. And so here's the radical idea behind this noticing skill. What if control isn't the solution, it is the problem? What if our attempts to control and get away from distress is actually not only making us lose contact with the present moment, but making it worse? Can you think about it? Almost everything that we struggle with, if we avoid, it makes it even worse. Like if you have something you have to do, a deadline, and you procrastinate, you may feel better initially, but you feel worse later. People who are so afraid of being social, connecting with others, will avoid people, and they will ironically become more socially anxious. People who have really bad memories and they try and avoid and push them down, those memories will often come back more strongly. So there's almost everything, like where people distract themselves with alcohol or gambling, or they stop doing things they love because they're trying to have less stress, and it just brings more stress on. Or they start, overthinking and worrying to try to have less stress, and it brings more stress on. So let's look at this assumption that we need to control our feelings. Is it really going to work? And so what we'll do is we'll do a couple of quick experiments where you can find out for yourself, does control work? Is it easy to control our inner experience? And I'll start with one really simple exercise. This will be fun. I want you to start by thinking about your favorite dessert. I want you to imagine that favorite dessert. So for me, it's a brownie covered in chocolate. I just want you to experience it and fully get into that dessert. Now, you're going to pause the film to do this. I want you to pause the film for 2 minutes, and I want you to not think about that dessert. And each time you do think about it, just make a mark on a piece of paper, and then return to trying not to think about it. Okay, so your goal is to not think about that dessert for 2 minutes. Okay, pause the film and start.